Hello and welcome to Excel Essentials. In this session, I'll be covering formatting cells. I'm going to show you how to do basic formatting in Excel. And as you see, we've got a little table here. We've got some words in column A and we've got some numbers in sequential order to 25 in column B. Now we're going to start off with bolding some cells. So I'm going to select some cells, and if you hit Control B, it makes your cells that you've selected bold. I'm going to select some more cells, and I'm going to hit Control I to make them italicized. If you want to underline the words in the cells that you select, if you hit Control U, that will underline the cells for you. If you do want to alter the way your cells have been underlined, you can use it in the ribbon itself and choose a double underline. But if you want to return back to the single, just go back and click the U for underline once you select it. If you want to select all the items within your table, hit Control A whilst you have one of the cells selected. If you then want to select the whole sheet, then hit Control A again and it will select all rows and columns. If you want to select a specific row, like the whole entire row, you can do that by holding Shift and then hitting space, and then you can have a whole row selected. So if I was to copy that and I was to paste it at the bottom, you see it is copied everything that was there. If I want to select an entire column, I can hold Control and hit space, and that will select the whole column. If I then copy that and then paste it, that will bring through everything that was in column A that I had selected. Now, if I want to hide a selected row, I can select my row. So say I want to hide row 26, I'll do Shift space and then followed by Control 9 to hide that specific row. And say I wanted to hide a column this time, I'm going to select column C. I'll hit Control space to select the whole column, and then I will select Control 0, and that will hide the whole column. Now I'm going to start off with a specific scenario. Say for example you have a value or a digit that's meant to be an identifier, for example. In this case I'm using employee ID, and let's say we need it to be 7 digits long. So some people have zeros at the start of their employee ID. Now as you see here, it isn't showing the 7 digits, and you can show it having the preceding zeros using formatting cells within Excel. And to access that, you select your cells that you want to format and you click Control 1. Now you'll go to Number at the top and then go down to Custom. And what you're going to do is you're going to select this general type here and you're going to delete that. Then what you're going to type in is 7 zeros in this example. And as you see, the sample at the top starts showing the preceding zeros as well. Now, if I click OK, as you see, they now all meet the 7-digit length. And you can do the same by using the text formula here, as we see in columns B and C. So as you see, I've got the same set of employee IDs on the left-hand side. Now, to do this using the text formula, we're going to start off with equals text. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to select our cell for the employee ID as our value. And so in that case, it will be B3. Then we're going to hit comma, or if you have a European keyboard, you might have to use semicolon. And now the format text part of the text formula allows us to put whatever value we have into whatever format we like. So it works the same way as the format cells. And to get it with the 7 digits, we're going to start by opening a speech mark. type in the 7 zeros, and then we're going to close the speech marks and then close the bracket. And as you see, now we have the preceding zeros as well. Now if I select the cell and double click on the little green box on the right hand side, it autofills and does that down as well. So you have the formatting also adjusted that way. I'm going to show you how to do colorful conditional cell formattings using the Format Cells dialog box. So as you can see here, we've got today's date, we've got our order IDs, delivery date, and days to delivery. And as you see, these are all our dates, and we've got some which are overdue and are in red, those which we have days until we have to do any sort of delivery, and we have a few, if not just one, which is due today to be sent out. Now, I'm going to show you the plain version. This is what it looks like. So we've got today's date as the 23rd of April. And as you see, we've got 13 days until delivery for the 6th of May. We're 19 days overdue on the 4th of April delivery for order 1936 and so on. And the way we will do this is I'm going to select all the items in our column C by selecting the top cell and Control Shift down. Now we're going to hit Control 1 or Control Shift F, which will bring up your Format Cells dialog box here. Now I'm going to go to Custom, and what we're going to do is we're going to remove this General for the moment. Now say we want our days to delivery, the positive numbers, to be green. We can do that by opening a square bracket, typing color 10, which will be green. Then we'll type a hashtag or a pound key, and this will signify the number. And then we're going to open our speech marks and do a space, day, bracket S, to delivery. And then we're going to do a semicolon to separate our different options. Now, we want the negative numbers to have the text days overdue, and we want that in red. So we're going to open up the square brackets, and this time we're going to type red in because that's in the natural palette. So type in red. Then we're going to do hashtag, open speech marks as before, space, days overdue, and then close that speech marks. And then we're going to do another semicolon, and this is where we're going to catch the last bit, which are those which are 0, and we want that to be sent today. And the color that we used on the other one was orange, and that is color 46. So I'm just going to put the text of send today, and we're going to hit enter, and as you can see, it has now brought all those through correctly. I'm going to show you how to stop merging and centering cells in Excel. Now this can cause various issues with filtering and formatting later on down the line. And as you see here in column B, we have our employees' grades. And as you see, they're written as C07, C15, and so on. But if you look in the formula bar at the top, you see it's just written as 3 or 12 or so on. And as you see, we've got our salaries in column C. Now, our boss has asked us that he wants a total and average of our employee salaries. So I'm going to do equals sum for our total, and then I'm going to select column C. Now, as you see, it's selected all columns A through to C because of the merged cell at the top of employee data. Now, we're just going to go ahead with this for the moment, and we'll do the same for average. And as you see, I'm selecting column C, and it's done the same. Now, this average looks relatively low considering all of these people's pays are generally over $30,000. And the reason is it's incorporating column B, which has numerical values like 2 and 8 and 3, which are bringing that average down. Now you could go ahead and just remove the A and replace it with the C, but there's a better way you can do this. So I'm just going to select our total and average, and I'm going to delete that and move to our merged cell. Now we're going to merge and uncenter it by clicking the button. And as you see, we've got our 3 cells back. Now to merge and center them, we can do it using the Format Cells pane. So you can hit Control Shift F or Control 1, and we're going to go to the Alignment tab. And then we're going to go to Horizontal, and we're going to click the drop down and select Center Across Selection. Now once you click OK, you can see it's done it exactly as you would merge and center, just you now have 3 cells written there. Now, if we do this total again, if I select column C, it now just only selects column C. And if I do my average, it does the same, and our average looks more accurate as 42,500 compared to it previously. And now finally moving on to highlighting duplicate values. So, as most of you are probably aware, we have the conditional formatting which we can use for this. So I'm going to select column A and I need to highlight duplicate values. So we're going to go to the conditional formatting and then go to highlight cell rules and then hit duplicate values. Once you select that, you'll get this box pop up on screen, and we want it to select duplicate values, and we want it to fill it with a yellow fill, for example, and we'll click OK. And as we see, Charlie, Dave, and Gabriel are all duplicated within this list of names. Now we're going to move on to this table in column K. An example of what will be coming up is visible in columns F and G. And what we're going to do is we're going to select this table. And what we want to do is we want to highlight the full row depending on the result of a value in column K. Now the way that we'll do this is I'll select the values in my table. And what we're going to do is we're going to go to conditional formatting, and we're not going to go via the same route as everything else, and we're going to go to new rule. Once you click new rule, you get this new formatting rule table open up. And what we'll want to do is click use a formula to determine which cells to format. Now what we're going to type in here is equals search. And here we're going to search for a text, and we want to highlight anything with the word Apple in. Now this is where we'll have to use placeholders to help us. Placeholders are used by using the asterisk. So what we're going to do is we're going to open our speech marks and we're going to start with an asterisk. So that means Apple doesn't have to necessarily be the first part of the cell, and it can be found anywhere within the cell's contents. Then we're going to type Apple, and we're going to close that off with another asterisk. And then what we're going to do is we're going to close the speech marks, and then we're going to put a comma. I'm going to put a space. Now what we're going to do is we are going to add in a $sign. Now the $sign is used to lock a column, and the column we're going to lock for that search is on column K. And then we're going to put in cell 2, and then we're going to close this bracket. And we want it to highlight it wherever it's there and true. And for that to be possible, we need to make that greater than 0. Now we're going to add a format to this, and we're going to do this light yellow, for example, and we're going to click OK. And as you see, we have now highlighted all the rows where Apple has been found within our search. You can do these for other words in other tables, for example, but this is just one really neat way of doing it. Stay tuned for more Excel Essentials.